Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my quick review for a movie you probably haven't heard of, won't see, and will never have a chance to see until probably around February or March when it comes out on DVD and maybe Blu-ray if it can. Victor Frankenstein, which is a huge bomb. It was a movie that bombed horribly, starring Daniel Radcliffe and James McAvoy as Igor and Victor Frankenstein respectively, and it's a movie I was kind of looking forward to because it was written by Max Landis, who did American Ultra, wrote that, and he wrote Chronicle. Chronicle I loved, and American Ultra I never reviewed, but I actually enjoyed it. I know a lot of people didn't, but I really enjoyed it for the most part. So I really like him as a writer, and it's directed by Paul McGugan, I think his name was, who I wouldn't say is a director I really like, but so I don't know why I even mentioned him. I don't know. That's not positive. Sorry. But, Victor Frankenstein, I don't know. I was just hoping this would be a good Frankenstein movie, or even a tolerable one, because the last one we had was I, Frankenstein, which admittedly had some really hilarious moments in it that I still remember, and some really bad, stupid-ass, like, CG and action that just did not fit with a Frankenstein story. And also, I mean, I love what's his name, Aaron Eckhart, but man, him playing sexy Frankenstein was so stupid. It didn't even look like Frankenstein's monster. Like he just looked like a guy with shitty like makeup on him to look like he had scars. That the scars were almost completely healed. So why was he even Frankenstein's monster? Why? So this one actually really captivated me because it was just kind of like a retelling of the Frankenstein story, except through the point of view of Igor, which was a good idea, even though Igor was never in the original Frankenstein book. That's perfectly fine. That's fine. Do something different, take from the original old movie and do something different with it, and that's cool with me. And for the most part, the writing was decent. There were some funny moments. The acting was great from the two leads. Daniel Radcliffe as Igor is likable. He's a likable Igor. At first, he is like the Hunchback style Igor, which everybody thought he wasn't going to be, because in the trailer you see him, he's like suave and nice long hair. But in the movie, he actually does start off kind of like master and stuff. But then later on, he's cured of his hunchbackness, which makes sense in the movie if you see it, which you won't. Just believe me, it makes sense. And then later on, he's walking regular. It kind of makes sense. They at least explain it. They don't say like he doesn't just like punch his back and he's just like I'm back. I'm fine. Oh, I can walk now. Like, he doesn't do that. At least they kind of explain it. And James McAvoy is great as Victor Frankenstein. He's really likable. He's one of those guys that he's so egotistical and he talks a lot and talks about all of his science stuff, and he creeps people out, but he's really likable and very, very charismatic in this film. He definitely makes the movie much better. And the writing, like I said, is pretty funny and pretty unique here and there. There's nothing too brilliant about the writing, but there's some things that they introduce and they talk about that's like, oh, okay. At least they tried. At least Max Landis tried. And even some of the direction, the way things look, the visuals and stuff, they used that $40 million budget pretty well. Also, later on, of course, they have to have the Frankenstein monster, and the Frankenstein monster looked pretty good. It was actually a guy in a rubber suit, and they actually changed up the design of Frankenstein's monster quite a bit, where they made him look pretty cool. So, good job there. So that's pretty much the good. The bad, it's very, very oddly paced. Not oddly, I shouldn't say that, but the pacing's a little off, where it follows James McAvoy and Igor after James McAvoy saves him from his isolation, his captivity, and then they go and like try to resurrect a monkey, because that's what Victor Frankenstein wants to do. He wants to resurrect dead things, and that thing attacks, and then he's like, all right, let's do something else. Let's do a human. And then they do a human at the end, and of course something happens with the Frankenstein monster, and the movie ends. So the way it's paced is like, I feel like they're running out of budget, and they're like, oh, we want to do a whole 30-minute sequence with the Frankenstein monster. Oh no, we only have like $5 million left. All right, screw it. Bring back the Frankenstein monster, and we'll kill him off in the last 5 minutes of the movie. And then we'll end the movie. Okay. Like, it felt like it was just rushed at the end, which was a problem. Also, even though the writing's good in some parts, it's pretty generic in others. Also, there's a whole love story between Igor and some other girl, and it's very, very mediocre. You don't really care about the girl. She's barely in it. Andrew Scott plays a detective who's looking for Igor because he left his his place or whatever, and he's not great in the film either. I mean, acting-wise, he did good, but he's not a great character. He's not really all that relatable or anything. And the movie itself is just something that you'll pretty much forget right after you see it. There's some really good scenes that you'll probably remember after, but you won't really remember the whole thing after you're done. It's not a terrible film. It is actually something that I would recommend if you see it ever on a Redbox, if Redbox even decides to have it. If you see it on a Redbox, which you definitely will, it's not that big of a disaster, but box office wise, then I would recommend renting it. It's a fun little film that has some really good moments and a great James McAvoy performance, who I love that guy. So I'm going to give this movie, I'm going to give it a 24 out of a 40. Pretty fun film, but nothing great. So there you go. That's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and goodbye.